Well, yes, I'm gonna bring the intro back, baby. Gotta turn back the pendulum, turn back the. I can't remember why I removed it. Okay, now I remember. I'm not gonna explain it. Enough of the yapping. Subscribe, like. Well, thank you for clicking this video. You're not new, you're old, you're new, whatever. You click on that subscribe button, or you don't. You do you. I'm gonna rock this. I'm curious where this story is gonna go. Is it gonna be full of nothing burger? I hardly doubt it. You know, you don't just make a fucking story. Unless it's IRL. IRL, sometimes you investigate something and then you actually discover the thing that happened and then, oh wow, it was simpler than I thought. That was a bit underwhelming, you know, but hey. Let's see what the people who made this game cook. People who written the story, the artist, and the whole thing, the whole package deal. The room was so quiet I could swear I could hear my own heartbeat. Okay, as such, I will. One moment, Sharif. Is it Sharif? Abdul Sharif. I don't know. All eyes went to Gale. Why don't we all introduce ourselves? I don't know about anyone else here, but I've never met any of you before today. That is true. Who are these people? We've literally met within the day. Couple of hours. I don't know. It was hard to tell Sharif's thoughts from his expression. He seemed to have a permanent look of irritated boredom. He does have that. It's like doing that the face, you know, that Ben Stiller movie. Was it? No. It was called something like Steel Blue, I think. I might be wrong. What was it? Zoolander. Yeah, there we go. Going back to it. Before he could say anything though, the stag leaned forward into the table. Great idea, I'll go first. I'm sorry everyone, I can't do impressions, I can't do voices for now. Maybe before, did I do impressions ever? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on what I feel for today. Rufus Dixon, pleased to meet y'all. Rufus Dixon, pleased to meet y'all. Y'all. Yeehaw. My sister Hannah was the first officer. His baritone voice had a bit of a southern US drawl to it. Despite his size, he radiated a warm friendliness. People from the south, from what I heard, hey sugar, you know, they got that. When they were friendly towards you, you could feel that southern love. Pause, actually, you know what, that might. Alabama, let's go. Pleased to meet you. All eyes moved to the next person along with a nervous cough. Aaron spoke softly, barely mumble. I'm Aaron Marsh. Carrie, my big sister, was the navigator. Stefan, who'd been fidgeting more and more, finally burst. Come on, what's with the was? They're still out there. Man, he's a... Wait, what animal is he? Is he a ferret? Ferret. There we go. All eyes turned to him. Even Tabby stopped fiddling with her phone to stare. Sheriff pinched the bridge of his muzzle in exasperation. Without skipping a beat, he leaned forward, gazing from face to face as if daring anyone to contradict him. Stefan Golubev, and my big bro is alive, and I'm gonna bring him home. Okay, man, cool. Only the soft sounds of June stalking the bar could be heard in the silence that followed, and even that halted when June realized the clinking was drawing everyone's attention. Everyone now turned to look at Tabby, who was still staring at Stefan. When she sensed all eyes on her, she immediately leaned back in her seat with a disinterested expression. Guess it's me, Tabby. Mom was the ship's doctor. At this, she turned to glare at Gale. And for the record, this was all Gale's idea. I don't want to be here, so the sooner this is over, the better. Well, at least she's honest. But damn, she brought down the mood, my man. Woman. Yeah. The look between them could have killed. I suspected Gale was regretting this introduction's business. Well, I'm Gale Waters. Mom was... She caught herself, returning the contemptuous look Tabby gave her. Is Dr. Emma Waters. As Tabby said, who is my sister, in case it wasn't obvious. The two stared each other down. Even Sharif glanced between the two as though half expecting one of them to lunge for the other. Thankfully, the tigress cleared her throat, drawing everyone's attention. She wore a slightly smug expression, arms folded, her piercing eyes moving over each speaker in turn. It's gonna be Dana, right? Like from MMA UFC. It's gonna be. It's not Donna. There's no H. I'm Dana. Captain McGregor was my father. I almost said wife. What? And assuming Sharif wasn't blowing smoke up our collective asses and we find the Arran, I will prove he wasn't responsible for her disappearance. Ooh, she shot Sharif a sharp look. Unfortunately for her, he looked utterly unmoved. In fact, he looked bored if anything. Man is a rock. If a rock was boring. That was when I noticed everyone had turned their gaze to me. Well, shit. Well, buckaroo partners. It's time to get buck wild. I felt my skin burn. I don't know if anyone got that reference. It's from a movie. Not entirely, but it's half of it. Going back to reading the whole thing, I felt my skin burn and my pulse quicken. I hated being the center of attention. I turned my face so my scarred eye was harder to see. As pointless as it was. I'm Garret. Garret Reid. Pleased to meet you. Is it Chris Redfield? Wait a minute. Laura Reid. Alright, it's gotta be Reid. Not Shadow Legends, but I believe it's gotta be Reid because there's an I there. I cringe at the quavering in my voice. My older brother was Connor Reid, a mechanic. When I saw Stefan and Gail shift uncomfortably, I realized I'd said the word was, past tense. Their sad expressions triggered a twinge of guilt and I couldn't meet their eyes. That's on them. They're sad, they're not, kaplooey is what it is. You know, in this world, the longer you live in it, you can't be a people pleaser towards everyone. You can be the nicest or kindest person in the room, but you're gonna be offending someone either way. So I'd say just let it rip. You've considered it. Yeah, I'm just thinking out loud, right? You've done everything you can to be respectful towards everyone in consideration with the knowledge you have with everyone in this freaking room. And it is what it is, you know? Oopsie-doo, I guess. Going back to cutting the yapping session of what I'm gonna cut it there. Going back to reading the thing, but the truth was, that's what I believed. This was a search, not a rescue. I'll be honest, 2 years, they're dead. Because if they're not dead, well, they could be alive. It's somewhat isekai, or they got transported to some crazy hoo-ha dimension. But if we're gonna be the odds of that happening, if we're gonna be a bit realistic in this matter, yeah, they're definitely dead. Especially with what we saw in the intro. Now only Sharif remained. He stayed silent, his hands still steepled before him as he stared at nothing in particular. Well? Very well. I am Professor Sharif Abdi. You may call me Sharif. And as my letter explained, I provided most of the funding for this expedition. A professor? What's your field? That's actually a good question. Anthropology. The study of humans. As for who I knew aboard, again, my letter made it clear. Could you remind me? It was a while ago. I could have sworn I saw a flicker of emotion through his stony expression. Professor Hagen. No way, you knew the guy in charge? I would explain if you could be quiet for a moment. There is an emotion to this hunk of horse meat. Stefan looked like he wanted to say more, but the barrage of annoyed looks silenced him. Professor Hagen was my supervisor for my PhD, who was also a close friend. That is why I am here. That is as much as I'm willing to say on the topic. Now if we are all finished getting to know each other, He's the kind of man that doesn't want to waste time or spend time in an unfruitful manner. That's what I think. He shot Gail a piercing look, making her shift uncomfortably in her seat. No one else looked interested in interrupting. I understand you all may be skeptical. Nearly 2 years worth of concerted search efforts for nothing. We have all put a great deal of money to this expedition. I assure you I have planned the most efficient search pattern that will make the best use of our available time. How long will this search last then? Your letter didn't specify that. 2 weeks. Ooh, they groaned because 2 weeks. 2 weeks can easily be like a blink of an eye, you know. That's how fast the days go by, if we're gonna be honest. Great, a fortnight on this tub and we don't even get to sightsee. But the inquiry searched the area around the Arran's last radio. It's Arran. It's gotta be Arran. The Arran's last radio positioned. I fucking messed this up. Last radio position. No trace was ever found. True, radio contact seemed normal at the time, but when you examine the GPS... Wait a minute! All eyes turned to the grouchy Stefan Gobolev put an intense look in his eye. Radio contact was not normal. They reported someone had been killed and their instruments were behaving strangely. I mean, this far out in the seas of nowhere, radio communications would go haywire and gravity may... I don't fucking know, man. I'm just throwing speculation. I remember the recordings from the inquiry. The captain mentioned the crew was having a discipline... whoa. The captain mentioned the crew was having discipline issues. Alright. So what? We've been over this. Seems to me they got lost. So everyone has their own little theories. Alright, cool. Arran visibly ceded at her insinuation, while Rufus put his hands on the table, barely containing his anger. My sister would never have allowed anyone in the crew to endanger the ship. Not in a million years. And there's no way Carrie would have gotten them lost. I guarantee it. Mom mentioned something about... Everyone started raising their voices at once, each protesting to the point where I couldn't make out what any one person was saying. Enough! Uh-oh. Big man, big horse, big 18-incher right here. Look at their shocked faces. You know what, I'll be honest, we gotta sidetrack here, just like I usually get sidetracked every day. Enough, exactly. Back to the topic, back to the point. His normally formal, quiet voice boomed out, startling everyone. He was stood, hands placed flat on the table as he stared down at us. We all fell silent, even June, although... Sorry, I'm like peeking. I think I overspoke. We all fell silent, even June, all the way over the bar, had frozen in the middle, placing a bottle on the shelf, seemingly afraid of clinking the glass. I am not here to relitigate the inquiry, and I don't care about blame. If you wish to repeat the same arguments of the last 2 years, do so on your own time and do not waste mine. Is this acceptable? Remember, he is funding this, and time is ticking. Time is definitely ticking. It wasn't a question so much as a dare. His sapphire blue eyes scanned each of us in turn as if challenging us to speak up. Even Rufus looked really uncomfortable under his unrelenting gaze. Splendid. And just like that, he sat back down, hands steepled once more as if nothing had happened. A few uncertain looks were exchanged across the table. As has been pointed out, the Arran's last radio report placed it on its planned route. However, he pulled a large roll of paper from the bag beside him and rolled it out over the table. It was a map of the Arctic region, with Svalbard near the bottom left. Longyearbyen was marked with a black cross with a dotted line leading to the north, bringing it toward Greenland. I'd seen this so many times before. Countless reconstructions, simulations, the path of the Arran's voyage. But there was a second red dotted line and a series of red X marks, with one large blue X. I have good reason to believe that Professor Hagen may have used a different route. We all exchanged confused looks. Different? How? And how do you know? Because he left behind an itinerary for a second route for the expedition in case they hit multi-year ice. The Arran was rated for first-year ice. What's the difference? First-year ice is ice that's less than a year old. Multi-year ice is potentially several years old, so that would mean it's thick. Multi-year is thicker than first year, enough that ships need to be rated specifically for it. It can be harder than concrete. More than enough to hold a hull. Alright, we're all on the same page. Hagen understood that if the chosen route was untenable, they'd require an alternative. However, the second route was quickly irrelevant because an ice report suggested it would not be a problem. Wait, you're saying you found some note from Hagen saying, "Hey, if you don't find us where we're supposed to be, try here." Are we supposed to believe that? Hagen left the itinerary with the University of Bergen's Jerkness Center for climate research as a routine procedure when planning the expedition. But that alone wouldn't be enough, while their last radio report put them here. He tapped an X mark on the original, official route close to Greenland. Several GPS signals placed them nowhere near the official route. This still sounds shaky. The inquiry said their GPS was faulty, they could have been lost. I'm not finished. The inquiry noted that while most GPS data placed them on the official route, several odd GPS signals placed the Arran hundreds of miles away from its supposed true position. These were assumed to be errors. But if you match those coordinates... Okay, we're getting somewhere, everyone. I am curious the mystery of this ship. Is it one of those spooky extra normal or supernatural events? Or is it more of the explainable kind? Usually a bit of both, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. How do you even correct me if I'm wrong? Haha. His finger tapped the red X's on the map. We all peered closely at the red dotted line, and sure enough, the marks track almost perfectly along the new red path. I believe Arran chose to use the second route for some reason. It might have been a last-minute change due to changing weather or ice. Or it was a cover story. The first route was a trick, the second was a true course all along. Conspiracy. All eyes glanced over to the possum. He had an intense look in his eye as he stared at the chart. Sharif gave him a withering look. Please do not jump to conclusions. We don't know why the radio report differs from these GPS coordinates, or why these odd coordinates exist in the first place. Maybe they were lost. Arran tutted and folded his arms. Or their equipment was faulty. Regardless, the fact these inexplicable coordinates match the second route perfectly is simply too much of a coincidence. Yeah, I was about to suggest as well. If we had this new information, why not bring it to the authorities? Why get us to fund this trip? I did. Damn. Well, usually when it comes to authorities, you got a lot of people that... Listen, they don't want to share the limelight, and also, if you really want to push this, you're gonna have to grease some people's hands. And what I mean by that, you gotta give them some extra dough, and that's a bit... how many people you have to go through that way? He hissed the words with a ripple of anger beneath his otherwise cool exterior. The authorities did not feel it sufficient to organize a new search. This was my last option. Believe me, if I'd had the means to fund this that did not require expending so much of my own money or yours, I'd have taken it. Sorry for the interrupting burp. The vast majority of the funds for this trip was hiring the sonar apparatus we will be using to search the seabed once we arrive at our search location. Your contributions helped with chartering this vessel. But I believe I've said enough. We will depart in an hour. If you are having second thoughts, now is the time. It will be approximately 3 days before we reach the first search area. While you are free to make use of the ship's facilities and hospitality, please remember you are here for a reason. But for now, are there any more questions? There was a tense silence. Sharif scanned each of us with that piercing gaze. Very well, if you all don't mind, I need to discuss the journey with the captain. And with that, he rolled up the chart, scooped up his notebook, and strode up the stairs leading to the upper deck. For a while, no one moved as we all seemed to be absorbed in our own thoughts. Everyone looked somber. Am I correct? Yeah, I'm fucking correct. Yes, sir. Sub-second doubting yourself as sleepy. This is what it is. Despite Sharif's explanation, I had so many questions, I didn't even know where to begin. I also got some questions, my man, but hey, maybe here we have the same questions. We gotta lock in. Sharif, finding this new itinerary, was bringing up a lot of questions. As bizarre as Stefan's beliefs were, I couldn't help but agree with him that something felt very off. We were shaken from our thoughts when Tabby finally pushed back from the table noisily and walked sullenly toward the lounge. Gale quickly followed. Glad to see we're all friends now. Tabby! She got an attitude, my friend. She got one heck of an attitude. Despite her snark, it did at least seem to drain some of the tension. Rufus stretched, loudly cracking his knuckles and popping his shoulders. Well, came this far. I'm in. Same, if you find Arran, at least I can know for sure. We'll find it and we'll bring them home. You'll see. Evening, guys. So I hate to bore you all, but I need to give you a safety brief before we do anything else. Legal requirements for your own safety. You get the gist. You get the gist of it. It's gist. It's not gist. It's gist, right? It's gotta be gist. I'm like second guessing the words here. Her expression hardened, from her usual sunny disposition as she began to explain to us the safety procedures and survival information. She gave a well-rehearsed speech about the ship's muster points, procedure for emergencies, where to find fire extinguishers. That's actually important. Listen, in a life or death scenario, you better know where's the exit, what are the procedures, the med kits, the fire extinguishers, what emergency procedures. Listen, if shit hits the fan, you better locked in, you better have a plan. But if it's extremely important that you wear your personal flotation devices in the event of an emergency, and whenever you are instructed to do so by the crew, if you fall into the Arctic Ocean, cold shock can kill in as little as 1 minute. If you find yourself in the water, you need to resist the urge to panic. Get your breathing under control and don't thrash about unnecessarily. You will then have roughly 10 minutes of useful movement to get yourself out of the water or into a stable situation where you are floating before hypothermia sets in. After that, you have about an hour before you become unconscious. Provided you're wearing your PFD, you may have about another hour before your heart stops from the cold. Every effort will be made to rescue you if you fall overboard, so you must remember these rules to maximize your chance of surviving if you end up in the water. Are we all clear? With such dire warnings, all the tension before came rushing back. I swallowed nervously and gave a nod. It hadn't really sunk in just how dangerous this voyage could be. It's kinda insane when you think about it. In extreme environments, your chances of surviving dwindle. In normal environments, like survivable environments, you got days time for food and water, a month worth of without shelter and yada yada yada, right? Everyone else seemed to be equally discomforted, but everyone gave a nod or grunt of acknowledgement. Good! I'm sure you won't need this information, but it's important that you know. While I have your attention, here's your handbook. It contains all the safety information I just told you. A guide to the ship and its facilities, rules. You get the picture. Breakfast is served between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. Lunch is 12 noon till 1:30 p.m. and dinners between 4:30 and 6 p.m. Any questions or concerns? I'm your woman. She's friendly. And just like that, her bright grin was back. I'm starving. I hope they've got some decent chow. Chef is currently preparing a late supper. Please be patient in the meantime. Can I fix you folks a nightcap? Wait, what? Well, that has to be the best damn idea I've heard all day. Damn straight. Sounds like a plan. No thanks. Although I wouldn't mind a snack, haven't eaten since lunch. I'm pretty hungry too. I'll wait for something to eat. June moved behind the bar as I was about to say Donna. As Dana, Rufus, and Aaron took up seats on the bar stools. Gale and Tabby took a seat on the sofas where Joseph had been sitting. Was nowhere to be seen. I suppose being the bussin' meant he'd be pretty busy. Stefan had wandered over to the hatch to separate the bar area from the kitchen. I wasn't super tired right now, and having been told I had time to leave this ship before she departed, I found myself seriously considering leaving. But when I thought of how much money Mom had poured into this trip, my mind was racing. Maybe chatting a bit would help loosen me up. I still knew almost nothing about I keep saying Donna. That's not Donna, it's Dana. Is it Donna? Oh my god, it could be anything. It's not Donna, there's another O. Dana or Rufus, except who in the Arran they were related to. Arran seemed to be a bit oblivious, and I could already tell he was a flirt. Seemed to be a decent sort, though. Sensitive about his sister too, clearly. Stefan was by the open hatch in the kitchen, watching the chef work. He was a weirdo, but friendly enough. Plus, I was fascinated by his apparent rock-solid conviction that the Arran crew was alive. Once again, I second-guessed myself how I pronounced that one. And then there was Gail and Tabby. Gail was lovely, but I couldn't wrap my head around her conviction, like Stefan, that the Arran crew were still alive. Arran. Tabby was a bit of a brat. I don't like her as well. I didn't much like her, but based on what she'd said, she'd been dragged into this voyage by Gail despite seemingly accepting their mother was almost certainly dead. I could empathize with that at least a little bit, I suppose. I glanced at the clock. I had time to chat a bit. Maybe get the others' opinion on Sharif's plan. Finally! Click me up, baby! I'm curious. Maybe this little weirdo of fluff over here. Weirdo in a good way. Stefan was watching through the open kitchen hatch, staring at something within. As I got closer, there was a flash of orange and a whoosh. Cool! As I got close, I saw the chief working his magic on a wok full of chunks of something, flipping it with a bright plume of flame. Stefan seemed mesmerized by it. I mean, it was pretty cool. My cooking skills amounted to stuffing whatever into a pot and stewing the living daylights out of it. Hey, As I reached out to touch him, he jolted so much you'd think I tasered him. Yeah. Don't sneak up on me like that. I nearly had a heart attack. Damn, man, so did I. We stared at each other for a few moments before bursting into laughter. You need to relax more. And you need to wear a bell around your neck so you can't just sneak up on people. I wasn't sneaking. He cut me off with a loud snort, chuckling at my indignation. Indignation. I think I read that correctly. Once again, comment down below if I'm messing these words up. I found myself laughing, especially the mental image of wearing a bell. Isn't it cool? I love the way they can do that. Just flip stuff like that. I can flip stuff as well. I can flip you off. It's pretty cool, yeah. I wonder if it's just showing off. Huh. Maybe. So, what did you think? Of Sharif, I mean. What do you mean? You don't think it's a little convenient? He knows the leader of the expedition, claims he's a friend, and just when the official search dries up, suddenly he finds a note from Hagen pointing out exactly where he is? Coincidence? I suppose. Come on, dude, do you believe everything you're told at face value? Mate, why would he lie? I don't know, but that doesn't mean he isn't. He gave me a frustrated look. Never mind, I'm too hungry to explain. As if to emphasize his point, his stomach gave a loud growl. Alex always made the best goulash. What I would give for a bowl right now. Your brother, the cook? Yeah? Yup. With him cooking, I can only imagine what amazing chow the crew get. I could swear I could almost see drool on his lips. He sounds cool. Bet your mom and dad appreciate having a good cook around. His bright smile and happy gaze melted away. They died when I was young. Oof! Oh my god, they're fucking cooked, man. My stomach clenched and my own smile vanished. God damn! Mate. I'm so Oh, mate. I'm sorry. So sorry. No, it's fine. You didn't know. My bro raised me for most of my life, so we're super close. I'm not gonna do impressions. I'm just gonna butcher them up anyway. I can cook a mean borscht cause of him. Plus, he got me into lighters too. Oh, he collected? Yeah, it's how I know about your Ellison. Well, that's a pretty specific interest, if you don't mind me saying. And you don't even smoke, am I right? Nope, never did, and neither did Alex. I just find him I'll be honest. I found one of those YouTube shorts, you know, the guy who collects like vintage, cool lighters, and I was like, I want to own one. Seems like a cool collection if you ask me. I don't smoke. Honest to G, sleepyheads, people who are watching, ladies and gents. I do not smoke. The only thing I smoke is fools and bitches. He was a strange one, but he seemed like a decent type. Although my curiosity was building to the point where I couldn't hold in my question anymore. I was meaning to ask, you don't mind of course, but why are you so convinced that they're alive? His expression soured like the lemon. I'm curious. It was odd. Not upset, more pensive. Have you ever heard of the is that a Fiala expedition? Inwardly, I grimace, bracing myself for a dose of crazy. No? It was an expedition to reach the North Pole that took place at the turn of the 20th century. It failed though. The ship got crushed in ice. But despite that, the expedition lost only one crew member, despite being trapped on the ice for nearly 2 years. Can you imagine? 2 whole years with an early 20th century ship in the Arctic. Now imagine what the crew of the Arran could survive with a modern ship, all of its supplies and technology. Diesel-powered generators, tinned foods, survival equipment. That is, if it was the environment that killed them. But what if it wasn't? I'm cooking. I'm fucking cooking. I'm so cooking. It's good. It's good food. You better eat it up, sleepyheads. Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean she couldn't have sank, right? He gave me a dirty look. You think a ship that size and that modern would just sink? Yeah, I think so as well. No, it would sink. Listen, why not? You don't think modern ships sink all the time? The Arran has state-of-the-art emergency equipment. Didn't you pay any attention to the inquiry? It has detachable beacons with GPS designed to transmit if they are submerged. If they went down, something would have been left behind to tell us. The fact they didn't, something brought it down. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a different conspiracy talk right there. Means that when wherever she is, the Arran is afloat. I would stake my life on it. Judging by the death glare he gave me, I believe it. All right. I held up my hands pleasantly. Wait, what is that a word? Look, just trust me on this, okay? I've done my research. Believe me, the Arran went missing for a reason. Oh no. Professor Hagen isn't a climate scientist, he's an anthropologist. Why would he lead a mission to investigate glacial melting? It doesn't add up. I've done it. I've set him off. If he starts talking about the Jews or the Rockefellers, I am out of here, brother. Look, I want to have a wander around. I'm not sure I'll be staying on board, so just want to get a feel for the place before I decide, you know? Oh, yeah, of course. But I hope you stay, you know? Thanks, man. See you later. He gave me a cheeky fucking grin, waved and turned to stare through the kitchen hut once more. God, when is dinner ready? Oh yeah, we got like 2 more people here. The 2 sisters, who are now butting heads. No pun intended, because they do have horns. The 2 sisters were sitting around the same round table, but with a hefty gap between them. Gail was nestled in the bend of the couch while Tabby was a good couple of feet apart from her. I gotta stop. Shockingly, Tabby was futzing with her phone while Gail was staring off at the bar absently. Maybe thinking for a drink. I need a drink right now, people who are watching. Going back to the game, clearly fuming. Gail's legs were crossed, her hoof bobbing up and down in clear agitation. I gingerly stepped closer. Gail didn't even notice me until I was almost standing directly in front of her. Garret! I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disturb you. I gestured to the far end of the sofa. May I? There's right. I'm rizzing. I'm kidding. Don't be silly. Sit. She brightened immediately, patting the seat next to her. I shimmied between the table and sofa, plopping down a respectful distance from Gale. I don't bite. I don't bite, Garret. I don't know. Wouldn't want to tangle with those horns. I don't have a spare eye anymore. We both chuckled and she scooted closer to me anyway. Not quite touching, but certainly pretty close. It's a nice ship, isn't it? June says it's normally for touring the Arctic, but they have some nice facilities too. A sauna, this place has a sauna and a gym? I might have to go there. I might have to sign me up in this boat. Oh wait, we do have to fund this as well. Never mind. It ain't a free trip. Never mind. They even converted part of the crew lounge to a sort of cinema. My goodness. But then again, the crew, the people on the ship, or any transportation, you want their morale to be high. You don't want them to be losing sanity now. No, the sea madness, as I say it. Me and the sailors, laddie. I'm kidding. They even converted. Okay, I read that. Really? That's not Garrett's voice. Really? Hope the crew aren't too upset about that. Nah, June says there's only 5 crew aboard. There's more than enough room. I raise an eyebrow. I was about to say, wait. 5 for this ship of this size? That's pretty light. Really? You think so? Yeah, I think it would be at least maybe 10? 10 would be a good number. I mean, June is steward, I think. Then there's Joseph, the bosun, the boss man, the bossun. There's the chef too, so that's more than half the crew already. I'd imagine the captain and first officer are on the bridge. Even for a ship this size, I'd have expected a few more deck crew. Joseph must be run off his hooves. Yeah, now you mention it, it does seem weird. Especially we're going to be doing search and yeah, exactly. You'd think the more people would be the better, or the right size amount, you know, if any, more hands, professional hands, to be exact. But then again, we are part of the crew. She's a nurse. She's a brat, the one on the right. Garret is... I forgot what he does. I absolutely do. Fuck it. Rescue. Going back to the game, sorry. Rescue. Dun dun dun. That's another reference to a show, a cartoon. I had to bite my tongue to stop myself asking about that. Tabby rolled her eyes but said nothing. On that topic, what did you make of Sharif's plan? Well, if what he says is true, it's possible the official search missed them. But it strikes me as odd that this Hagen guy left behind an alternative route that Sharif found just as the official search ended. Wouldn't the university have known about it? Said something earlier? You think he's lying? Well, I wouldn't go that far. Just seems strange. But I don't think it matters much anyway. I mean, it's been 2 years. Gail's expression flickered ever so slightly. It was obvious where I was going with this, and she decided to cut to the chase. Garret, you don't have to tell me how hopeless it sounds. Believe me, I think about it every day. But if I don't hold on to hope, then what? Mom is just gone? Nothing to bury, nothing to mourn? Though her expression was stoic, I could hear the slight break in her voice. Her bright eyes flicked away from mine, unfocused. I could very much understand. Many days, weeks and months with Mom, watching her cycle between bawling despair and catatonia, gave me more than my feel of the grieving process. I mean, don't you want to know what happened to her brother? At the very least, to know for sure one way or another. Gail, you think I don't want to fucking know what happened to my big brother? You fucking bastard, you daft son of a bitch! I'm kidding. I guess? She noticed my hesitation and paused for a moment, looking into my eyes until I couldn't meet her gaze. You didn't get along with him, right? I continued to stare at the floor, hugging myself under the guise of folding my arms. The pit in my stomach worsened and the prospect of just quitting this trip became even more tempting. But before I could answer, Tabby cut in with a loud tut and sigh. Leave him alone. Aw. Never mind. She's getting on my good side again. The look on Gail's face could have killed. I'd seen her angry during the meeting, but this was something else. I found myself shrinking back from her. Trust me, Garret. I've had this conversation 100 times now. You'll never get through to her. Nobody asked you. She hissed the words, her fist balled up. I messed up the execution for that part. Sorry, everyone. She was almost trembling with rage. Of course, just like you didn't ask if I wanted to come along on this fucking trip. Tabby. The warning in her voice made my fur prickle. I could hear her seething, but Tabby had clearly had enough. You think I don't care about Mom? You think I want to never see her again? Not have a body to bury? Yikes. Garret, what kind of position we put ourselves into, man? We should have just talked to the trio. I raised my hand in a futile attempt to placate her. Venom dripped from her words and her glare was fixated on her sister. What I don't want is to keep picking at this fucking wound for the rest of my life. She jumped to her feet, glaring at Gail, and for the briefest moment, I was scared they were going to start throwing punches. You gotta fight for your life. Dun, 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 dun. You gotta fight for your life. That's a song if anybody knows. I sang that horribly, arguably. But thankfully, I think she spun around and stormed out towards the cabins. Once again, the air went frigid as all eyes followed Tabby, then focused on us, but mainly Gail. Her eyes remained fixated on the door Tabby had left through, gazing daggers and apparently oblivious to the fact everyone was now staring. The dire warnings June had given of an icy death in the Arctic waters sounded like a fantastic evening plan if it meant leaving this situation. I gave an awkward cough. No effect. I swear I could hear her teeth grinding. I gingerly reached out, terrified to lose fingers. Gail? That seemed to snap her out of it. She took a moment scanning the room, only to realize she was the center of attention. Sorry, everyone. It's been a stressful time. Everyone turned back to what they were doing, and the smattering of chat started anew. Gail and I sat in awkward silence. For a moment, her gaze locked on the table. She's not entirely wrong. Her voice was quiet, almost a whisper. She still didn't look up at me, instead staring unfocused. I did insist she come with me. I saw tears starting to form as her voice broke. My mouth opened to speak, but anything I wanted to say caught in my throat. Really? What should I say to her? I just didn't want... I'm sorry, Garret. Could you excuse me? I nodded numbly and she stood, before quick walking to the door leading to the cabins. The chatting dimmed for a moment as she left and I felt a few gazes on me. Well, that could have gone better. Realizing I was sitting awkwardly alone, I rose as quietly and nonchalantly as I could, given I'd been a foot from ground zero. I hoped they were okay. As much as I wanted to go after her to check, this really wasn't my fight. Alright, everyone. That was one heck of an episode right there. I'm gonna end this video right here. I got stuff to do and you got stuff to do, but thanks for checking out this video, checking on me, because I'm about to check on you. How's your day? How's your night? Good luck on whatever you're doing. Good luck, everyone. Sweet dreams. I'll be seeing you in the next yada yada episode. Bye.